another chapter from this amazing book, Extraordinary You. And we are on chapter 10, Reaching Social Maturity. Have you ever heard the expression, keep your eyes on your own work? Of course you have. As children, we are all taught to worry less about what our classmates are doing and more about whether we're making the grade ourselves. Unfortunately, many of us never truly learn that lesson, even after we graduate from school and embark on our own lives. Believe it or not, that simple lesson of keeping your eyes on your own work has immense value in your everyday life. Even today, how often do you worry about or judge what others are doing? How often do you blame other people for your own situation? Becoming extraordinary is all about looking within, even socially. To develop social maturity years after your kindergarten teacher first commanded you to, you must first squash the urge to judge others and their actions when you should be worrying about your own. Then it's time to look within and without blaming anyone else for your problems, figure out how you have built the life you have and how you can improve it. Your teachers wouldn't like to hear it, but this may be the most important homework you will ever do. Judge no more. Judgments are our disowned and shadowed shortcomings, which we inadvertently and unconsciously project onto others. Judgment is the opinion you make about yourself or someone else based on your 5 senses: snap observations, comparisons, automatic reactions, and past experiences. Your senses pick up something, and you run it through your self-created filters, cross-reference, and associate, and pigeonhole the person or situation. Judging provokes prejudice because one is judging based on external appearances and superficial factors. Judging weakens your natural state. Judging takes you out of harmony and inner peace. The goal is to stop judging and start accepting and loving. The best cure for judging is to adopt a state of loving compassion. Why we do the things we do. We judge others in order to show superiority. We judge in order to gossip. We judge for entertainment. We judge because there's something missing in our own lives. We judge in order to appear cool and hip. We judge out of boredom. We judge for many reasons, but the underlying fundamental reason is because we don't accept ourselves and have low self-esteem. When we switch to self-acceptance and self-love, we have the power to end the preoccupation with pointing fingers, comparing, competing, and labeling. In essence, self-loving frees you from judgment. While I was working in those careers that didn't resonate with my soul, I had no shortage of labels to bestow on others. I had no qualms about judging people to be lazy, unmotivated, undisciplined, indecisive, or irresponsible. Why was I such a judgmental tyrant? I was afraid. My true motivation for judging others was to deflect the reflection of my own fears and insecurities. But in reality, I was projecting my own thoughts, feelings, fears, and beliefs back onto myself. All those judgments were what I perceived as my own shortcomings, but I was afraid to face or claim them. I was disguising my perceived faults by driving myself harder, by being in constant motion. I was afraid that if I stopped doing and striving, I would discover that those traits were also inside of me. I still catch myself making judgments, but much less so. I'm a work in progress. When I catch myself judging, I immediately stop, forgive myself, and rephrase my statement about the person. I just judged. Then I bless them, and I bless myself. Why not? There are many reasons not to judge. It's petty, rude, bias-based, painful, disempowering, malicious, bad karma, and wrong. But the main reason why we should not judge is because we are all interconnected. When we are judging another, it is the same as judging ourselves. In essence, whether we do so consciously or not, when we judge others, we are really being critical of ourselves. And the more judgment we pass, the more it expands and attracts more judgment into our lives. The origin. When you are judging, you are trying to influence yourself and others to react according to the stringent standards and rules you have set up to measure success. The difficult question to answer is, what specifically motivates you to judge, and what standards do you use to judge and label things as right or wrong, proper or improper, moral or immoral, or ethical or unethical? The answer lies in your own personal experiences, upbringing, friends, culture, religious affinity, environment, geographic location, and geopolitical beliefs. This is where you have adopted your prejudices. Prejudice means to prejudge. You judge based on what you perceive as different from you, and what doesn't measure up to what you have deemed are appropriate standards based on your particular experiences. Over time, you have accumulated vast amounts of traits that you feel aren't good or honorable. These are traits you try to deny or hide. These disowned parts of yourself are what the renowned psychologist Carl Jung called shadow. Shadow is made up of all of the traits that you have labeled as bad, shameful, unlovable, suppressed, denied, and buried deep within the recesses of your consciousness. While it should be a goal to pursue what you deem virtuous and good, you mustn't deny or suppress any human trait. Each human being contains the whole spectrum of human characteristics, not just the good and the bad, or the bad. Everyone possesses every human trait, emotion, and impulse, and its polar opposite, the good and the bad, honesty and dishonesty, beauty and the beast, sweet and sour, feminine and masculine, cowardice and courage, joy and misery, generosity and greed, and love and hate. But not necessarily for the same person, of course. If you experience one trait, then you have to dig deep within, shine the light, and experience the polar opposite in order to achieve balance, peace of mind, and wholeness. You live fully and joyously by shining light upon a trait you find ugly and looking for the gift in that trait. In other words, find the positive aspect of what you have labeled as bad and ugly. Herein lies the gift of the shadow. You carry around various masks or shadows for different occasions, such as fear, selfishness, anger, lust, criticism, rejection, stupidity, mean-spiritedness, pettiness, or jealousy. You may be thinking that there is nothing positive about any of these traits, but if you turn inward, you will see that each one offers you an opportunity for personal growth. For instance, the shadow of thinking you are stupid offers you the opportunity to face your fear of being or looking stupid. And with acknowledgement comes empowerment. Once you recognize this trait and figure out where it originated, you are able to rise above it. You could go back to school, take continuing education courses, read up on various subjects, etc. When you take corrective action, you will feel more confident and empowered, and you won't feel the need to judge others in order to feel better about yourself or deflect attention from your so-called negative trait. Like most people, you may be afraid that if you shine the light on your shadows, you will unearth the evil demons within the recesses of yourself. So you strive harder to extinguish the light, to repress and suppress the dark side of yourself, which you have declared so unworthy and unlovable. You have become masterful at the game of pretense, that you have fooled your own self into thinking that you don't possess these ugly traits. Essentially, what you have done is to create masks that you wear out of fear of exposure to both yourself and others. You have become such a masterful pretender that you have convinced or almost convinced yourself that you don't possess these traits. You deny, repress, and suppress these traits inside of you. But you go around labeling and judging others to possess these traits. Ironically, you recognize these traits in others only because you possess them within yourself. You can't truly enjoy the totality of light, love, and joy until you have experienced darkness, sadness, and loneliness. Until you've experienced blustery, rainy days, you can't fully appreciate perfectly balmy temperatures and sunny days. It's not enough to label a trait that you find undesirable in you. You need to acknowledge it, own it, and embrace it. You need to examine what this trait can teach you about yourself and others. In our need for approval, acceptance, belonging, and love, we erroneously think that to be divine, we must be perfect. But to be divine is to be whole. We already are whole. We just need to become aware and claim our wholeness. Our purpose as human becomings is to become whole beings. Projection. How do we recognize our shadows, the disowned parts of ourselves that we need to acknowledge so that we can heal? You do this by vigilantly questioning the validity of and motives for your judgments. What is projection? Projecting is when you unconsciously transfer your traits onto other people. Projection. Projection is when you unconsciously transfer your traits onto other people so that it appears to you that the other person has that trait, not you. In reality, it's a disowned part of yourself that you perceive exists in another human being. It is a way for your unconscious to try dealing with parts of yourself that you find undesirable or unlovable. The irony is, the trait that makes you feel an emotional charge is really within yourself. You can only see in others what is in you. For example, if you feel a strong charge from stupid people, this may be an indication of a disowned trait that you have but haven't owned up to. If you always have a need to have all of the answers, if you always need to prove how smart you are, you need to own the trait of stupidity. You need to recognize that it is a trait that you embody and must work to accept and integrate. You need to learn to be okay with the fact that you may not have all of the right answers all of the time, and that you may not be the smartest person in the world. You need to accept and be at peace with who you are without needing to constantly prove yourself. When you catch yourself criticizing or judging your own insecurities, weakness, and shortcomings in others, you need to stop. Don't fight it. Accept it. Feel the emotional charge and ask yourself, am I projecting my own shortcomings or prejudices onto others? Look at yourself in the mirror. This world is one infinite mirror. What you are judging others for is what you really need to heal in yourself. Projections can go both ways. When you are captivated by the positive traits of coworkers, family members, friends, megastars, professional athletes, and so on, examine what specific characteristics you admire about them. What empowering trait or traits do you recognize in that person that you wish you could possess too? When you recognize the positive trait in another person, acknowledge that you also possess this trait. Claim it. It is yours for the taking. Work toward integrating and empowering this trait within you. You integrate the trait by checking within to recall any time in the past when you demonstrated this trait. Then add positive emotional intensity to the moment or moments. Recognize that if you have exhibited this trait in the past, not only do you possess it, but it is also part of who you are. And you can re-exhibit it at will. Even if you can't recall a time when you exhibited the trait, trust that you possess it. Remember, within you is the full spectrum of human characteristics and traits that are in all other human beings. This is your opportunity to claim it and own it. So continuously repeat it like a mantra and embrace the trait with strong emotion. We are all created equals. The difference is that some have the courage and confidence to claim a trait while others don't. Or worse, they have disowned it. The whole spectrum of traits is within your reach because it is within your inner self. Remember, when you feel a positive or negative emotional charge around a person, it is your internal alarm trying to get your attention. It is an aspect of yourself that you have disowned or have not fully recognized. And now it is trying to reassert itself and reclaim its place within yourself. You can't set free what you don't own. Until you expose, acknowledge, and heal your shadows, you can't be free. You will transform your life when you make peace with your shadows. Free from judgment. Freedom is being free from judgment. Freedom from judgment is when you feel so comfortable in your own skin that you don't have to resort to lower energy, means such as demeaning, diminishing, offending, and criticizing others in order to make yourself feel better or superior. Freedom from judging is the freedom to feel, be, and think whatever you want, whenever you want, without the need to impose your insecurities, dominating tendencies, or petty beliefs on others. Freedom from judgment gives you the ultimate freedom to live and let live. Make a commitment to free yourself from prejudice. When you come from a place of judgment rather than a loving and compassionate place, nothing and no one will ever be good enough. Success, bliss, peace of mind, and spiritual enlightenment will always be outside of your reach because you have set unattainable standards that aren't conducive to growth, standards that are impossible to meet. Let go of the need to compete, interpret, and compare your actions with those of others. Be willing to suspend judgment and extend a compassionate heart. Focus your intentions on fulfilling your life's purpose, on inner bliss, on your interconnectedness to all beings. Increased awareness will eradicate your judgmental inclinations. Judgment is a toxic addiction. Learn to forgive, accept, and love yourself. When you truly love yourself just as you are, including the previously disowned parts, you release the need to judge. Unconditional love heals the need to judge yourself and to judge others in order to make yourself feel superior. Healing process. When you catch yourself being judgmental, send the person love. Since everything and everyone is interconnected, to judge another is the same as judging yourself. When you judge others, you are being critical of yourself, whether you do it consciously or not. And the more judgmental you are, the more focus you're putting on it, and the more it expands, and the more you attract it into your life. Often you judge what you fear most. For example, if you fear that one day you will grow fat, you may use judgment as a tool so that you won't start eating unhealthily and gaining weight. You may criticize or make fun of fat people as a defense mechanism, to deny your fear of getting fat or to create enough aversion to fat people that it will serve as a deterrent to your getting fat. So other people won't label or judge you as you did in the past. Stop playing judge and jury. Show compassion toward yourself and others. Look for positive things to focus on and compliment yourself and others. Learn to trust. Learn to focus on what's good and pure. Look inward and learn to appreciate your talents and sing your praises. Express tolerance for your inner self and for all living things. Extraordinary size 51. Approach your life as if every person and every circumstance is an opportunity for healing. You are presented with people and circumstances that make you uneasy or provoke you to judge. Stop. View it as crucial information and feedback that is being mirrored back to you so that you can heal a disowned part of your inner self. Rather than being judgmental, approach it as an opportunity for growth. This shift in perspective will enhance every area of your life. Responsibility. Responsibility is buying into the notion that if it's meant to be, it begins with me. And then taking action and holding yourself accountable. Now that you've learned to focus less on judging what other people are doing and more on your own life, let's talk about personal responsibility. Who you are today is a direct consequence of the choices of yesterday. Who you will become tomorrow is a direct consequence of the choices you make today. The life you are living today is simply the result of thousands of your choices and actions over the years. Many of those decisions and choices seem trivial and inconsequential, while others seem significant and life-altering. Regardless, every decision has played a role in who you are and where you are today. Personal growth and mental maturity come from accepting responsibility for your choices and your actions. The 3 words, I am responsible, have the power to transform relationships, situations, and one's personal growth. Taking responsibility is not about admitting failure or mistakes just for the sake of blaming or beating up yourself or others, or because you are cornered, or to get yourself or someone else off the hook. It is about doing the right thing for the right reason. You accept responsibility because your spiritual, mental, and emotional growth has evolved to a level where you are a person of excellence and integrity. Stop passing the buck. Passing the buck might seem harmless, but it isn't. The relationship rift and personal rift it creates will intensify in the long term. It just isn't worth it. Blaming others just reaffirms your belief that you are powerless. I became the queen of the blame game. I had a plethora of excuses for why my life was in such disarray. The more proficient I became at dishing out excuses and pointing fingers, the more chaos, upheaval, and disappointment I attracted into my life. You see, the more excuses I gave, the more powerless I felt, and the more I bought into the notion that my life was at the mercy of outside forces, that I was unlucky, that it was fate, that I was being punished, and that I should just accept my circumstances. Excuses became my crutch. They only served to justify my shortcomings, my fears, and my inability to be proactive. Once I stopped making excuses and started to take full responsibility for my thoughts, my actions, and my life, a new world of possibility opened up for me. I no longer felt at the mercy of fate. Now I knew that I had the power to take responsibility for creating my own life. I learned the hard way that when you take your finger off your chest to point it at someone or something outside of yourself, you are giving away your power. But when you take your responsibility for the role you played and the circumstances of your life, you shift the power right back where it belongs, to you. Even when placing blame on someone is justified, it is up to the other person to accept personal responsibility for their role in the situation. If they choose not to take responsibility, that's their choice. Regardless, it's ultimately up to you to accept personal responsibility for your role in the situation and to brainstorm ways to correct or enhance the situation and then implement your strategy. Be a human becoming of personal excellence and integrity. Stand up and take responsibility for your life choices and circumstances. Not once in a while or when it's convenient or easy, but all the time. Ultimately, you are accountable. The buck stops with you. If you don't like your career, you are accountable. If your marriage has gone down the tubes, you are accountable. If your kids are derelicts, you are accountable. If you are overweight, you are accountable. It is so much easier to blame your parents, your kids, family members, teachers, your boss, coworkers, or you name it. The hardest but most healing and effective thing to do is to look within and accept responsibility. Stop asking, why are you doing this to me? And why are you hurting me? And start asking, what did I do to contribute to this situation? And what can I do to change this situation? When you ask these tough questions, you are taking back your power. You are in control, no longer the helpless victim of circumstance or at the whim of another person. You are creating opportunities for personal growth, personal success, and joy. You are responsible for how you allow people to treat you. If people around you mistreat you, verbally or physically abuse you, are disrespectful to you, walk all over you, or take you for granted, it is because you are letting them get away with it. You trained them that it's okay to treat you like you are less than human. You have to find out why your sense of self-worth and self-respect is so low. Heal these beliefs. Then stand up and proclaim that you aren't going to take it any longer. Retrain people to treat you in a respectful and dignified manner, essentially the way most people want to be treated. And don't settle for treatment that is less than what you want and what you deserve. Extraordinary size 52. When you are tempted to blame someone or pass the buck, take a breather. Take a few moments to retreat within. Fessing up is hard to do, but it is crucial if you want to treat the root of the problem. So you must ask yourself tough questions such as, what was my role in this situation? And how did I contribute to this situation? Then accept responsibility for your role in the situation. You aren't done. Keep going. Tell yourself, what's done is done. Now, what can I do to correct the problem or improve the situation? What can I do to alleviate or fix the problem? Resolve to do it. Then offer a prayer of thanks for the opportunity to learn the lesson that is being presented. Excuse-free zone. Excuse-free living means that you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances. Do you believe that you are a magnet for bad things? Do you believe that you are unlucky? Do you believe that you got dealt a horrendous hand? If so, you have got to re-examine your beliefs. As long as you continue to blame and excuse your life away, you will experience lack, misfortune, failure, disappointment, anger, and resentment because the lens of your camera is using laser precision to zero in on everything and anything it can in order to validate your beliefs. You need to change and widen the focus of your lens so that you can see the lesson and potential in every circumstance. Your authentic self would never make or accept excuses because when you are true to yourself, you are fearless. You don't feel a need to justify, deny, pretend, lie, or excuse who you are. People or their egos often avoid taking responsibility because they are afraid. Fear or the threat of experiencing pain activates their defense mechanisms. People fail to take responsibility because they think it is less painful to distort, lie, or deny reality than it is to be accountable. Here are some of the ways people distort, deny, or lie to themselves. Hoping that you'll be rescued, procrastinating, deflecting attention away from the situation to someone else, passing the buck, avoiding the situation, taking the approach, what you don't know won't hurt you. Taking the approach, what they don't know won't hurt them. Minimizing the situation, resorting to, I don't know. Tuning it all out, creating havoc or disarray in other areas in order to disguise the core problem. Refusing to see the problem. Experiencing convenient memory lapses. Simply dodging the situation. Compartmentalizing it into a tiny corner of your brain. When you can't or won't admit mistakes, you cut yourself off from learning and growing. You also cut yourself off from your authentic self. Here are some of the more popular excuses. Scheduling conflict equals had something else to do. Time constraints equals too busy, not enough time. Perfectionism equals if it can't be perfect, I'd rather not do it. The kitchen sink equals throw in every possible explanation and excuse. Fantasyland equals wishful thinking prayed for a miracle that failed to come through. Pointing fingers equals it wasn't my fault, it was his or her fault. Blaming equals blaming it on the weather, circumstances, or fate. Rationalization, it wasn't my problem. I had my own problems to deal with. Dramatization, exaggerating, equals, hey, I did all I could do. It was impossible for one person to do it alone. Don't fall victim to excuses. Make a commitment to create an excuse-free lifestyle. Extraordinary size 53. Ask yourself, what's my excuse? People make excuses because they have served a purpose in the past. Today we use these excuses because they are familiar and comfortable, and because they continue to give us payoffs. Excuses are very habit-forming. Answer these questions for each excuse. What is my payoff for this excuse? If I eliminated this excuse, how would I feel? If I eliminated this excuse, how would my life be different? By eliminating this excuse, what new choices could I make, and what new challenges would I be able to take? Insert your excuse and say, I am responsible. I take responsibility for. Then ask yourself, what can I do to fix this or to make amends? What can I do to prevent this from happening again? This way, you will not only learn the lesson, you will also look for a productive solution to prevent it from happening again. Extraordinary size 54. Just for today, eliminate all excuses. No excuses. Now repeat this exercise every day. When you make a commitment for just one day, it is a lot less intimidating than committing to it for a lifetime. But if you eliminate excuses just for today, every day, you will be eliminating excuses for a lifetime. If it's meant to be, it begins with me. Whatever your goals, aspirations, dreams, and wishes are, if they are meant to be manifested, it starts with you. You are the sole responsible for the quality of your life. Whether you live an extraordinary life or an extraordinary life is entirely up to you. Oh, okay. I get it. I have to reread that. Whether you live an ordinary life or an extraordinary life is entirely up to you. Your most meaningful responsibility is to discover your life's purpose. Your purpose is what you were specifically and uniquely put on this planet to do. You have an important contribution to make. It is also your responsibility to actively pursue fulfilling your life's purpose. It isn't enough to know what you should be doing with your life. Every day you should work toward realizing your purpose. Invest your time wisely. Don't put into your mind and body anything that isn't going to support and nourish your soul. It is your responsibility to improve and feed your inner self with ongoing knowledge, personal growth, self-love, inner peace, purposeful behavior, and inspirational pastimes. Set your intention. to make every day better than the day before. Remember that you are a work in progress. Every decision creates a different future for you. Free will gives you the choice to live a juicy, passionate, and fulfilling life, or a mundane, mediocre, and meager life. It's your choice. Do you want to triumph or simply exist? Personal success is my responsibility. It's the age of instant gratification. We want, and we want it now. Unfortunately, a short-term outlook often leads to things falling short of expectations. So often people get discouraged before they even get to the starting gate, or they quit the race long before getting to the finishing line because the project will take too long. For example, one might have a desire to become a doctor or lawyer, but not be willing to invest the years of education. The practicality of your deadlines for your goals will determine the quality of your life. If you are too impatient or too lazy to set a goal and steadfastly pursue it, despite setbacks and false starts, you might as well resign yourself to living an ordinary life. Wanting more but not being willing to put in the sweat equity you need to get there will get you nowhere. As you work toward a better future, you may feel a time crunch in the present, but there is a way to level the playing field. You can take advantage of the one thing that everyone has equal amounts of: time. Manipulate time to your advantage. While others are fooling around or wasting time, you can manipulate time to some degree. You can develop ways to accomplish things more efficiently and faster. You can multitask and streamline or automate routine tasks. Remember, where there is a will, there is a way. If one thing doesn't work out, try another and another. The same goes for when one door slams shut in your face. Try another door and another door. Don't give up. Taking responsibility honors your inner self and the universe. It demonstrates your trust that the universe will assist you in your challenge. It demonstrates that you have the inner faith in your ability to triumph over missteps and challenges. By accepting responsibility, you are demonstrating that you are a person of excellence and integrity. Extraordinary size 55. Before making important decisions, ask yourself, what are the consequences of this decision I am making? How will this decision impact myself and others? Listen to your heart and your body. What are your senses telling you? Do you feel discomfort or unease? Or do you feel an inner resonance? Another technique for deciding how a decision will feel is to visualize the decision sitting on a platter. Visualize yourself swallowing the decision while you focus on how you will feel. Ask yourself, how did you feel? Were you able to swallow the decision, digest it smoothly, and enjoy it? Or did you feel a bout of indigestion? Follow the same technique for each of the various options you have when you need to make a decision. If you don't like the answer or the feeling associated with it, don't do it. Make the right choice. How do you know if this is the right choice? You know it is the right choice when you hold pure intentions and follow your heart and intuition. The right decision is the one that is for the highest good. It is the one that makes you feel at ease. and peaceful. Stand up and take full responsibility. When you stand up and take full responsibility for your trespasses, you cleanse your soul and align yourself with your inner essence. It is like a cosmic do-over. It harmonizes and aligns your subconscious and consciousness. Make a commitment to take full responsibility for manifesting a purposeful life worth living and celebrating. Here's how you do this. Conscious decision making, focusing on pursuits that are meaningful for you, establishing positive thinking and beliefs, implementing positive behaviors, being self-directed, setting a clear direction and purpose, visualizing the steps you need to take in order to manifest an extraordinary life, taking action. Recognize that an extraordinary life is totally within your power. It is up to you to have the courage and desire to take responsibility for your choices and your future. Extraordinary tidbit. Responsibility means response ability. The ability to respond. You need to take personal responsibility for your thoughts, your feelings, your behavior, your actions and reactions, your life choices, and the way your life has turned out up until now, so that you can regain your ability to respond in an effective, efficient, and empowering manner in order to enhance and enrich all of the areas of your life. So that is the end of chapter 10. And again, we are so blessed. This book by our angel Jacqueline Ortiz, a legacy that she left us, our angel now in the heavenly realm. She has her wings and she's with us, she's guiding us. And I'm grateful when she comes to me and she pokes me and says, Jacqueline, I think you need to read another chapter. And there is a book club that I started inside of Facebook. It's Your Extraordinary You Book Club, and you can get free coaching inside of there. You can go ahead and decompress and take a look as you dissect the chapters and the extraordinary sizes. And we're just getting started in there. You know, it's been a journey for myself. There's been so much in my life that I've transcended and transformed through, and challenges and losses of loved ones in my life, grief, and it's such a journey of life. And so, like you, I am a work in progress. You know, I've been on this journey of energy work for more than 20 years, over 10 years as a coach. And, you know, I've had to honor taking a pause for myself, for healing that I needed to do. So this is my step back into my work and my gifts back to humanity. And so if you'd like to join me inside the Face group, it's free of charge. And I'm just happy to read this book with you and know that this is just a life-changing book. It's one that truly makes an impact in helping us to transform the qualities within us that are not serving us, the limiting beliefs, the projections, the rejections, the suppression, the repression, the, you know, all the things that we've taken on, the identities that we've worn as ours, that were our badge of honor, you know, or dishonor, you know, being victimized, being helpless, and it just doesn't serve us. Our world is calling us into leadership, what I like to call sustainable leadership, which is a book that I'm currently writing in this pause time. And so sustainable leadership for an evolving world. And, you know, Jacqueline has been such a huge part of my journey, and she was my soul sister. So I'm so blessed to share her work with you. She never fully got to experience being honored for the true light and lighthouse that she was. I mean, her words were divinely channeled, and I know this. And when I picked this book up, I truly knew it in that moment. And from earth back to heaven, thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you for writing this book. And we are honored to read your words, and we are so thankful that you are with us, and we know that our souls are interconnected. And so as I'm on this journey within myself, as I regain my footing and the foundation under my feet again, it is time to step into the light and work that uplifts humanity and helps propel me in creating momentum on my own work in this world. So join me inside of the Facebook group. And like I said, we're just getting started. I'm just compiling all the chapters currently. And so we haven't really been having the discussion groups. We've had a few of them, and we're really working on building this. So if you know of any friends, loved ones, family members that you feel this group would support, please share it. Please share the link for the playlist. So as you find this chapter within YouTube, it is living inside of a playlist, which is Your Extraordinary You Book Club. And that playlist will start at chapter 1 and take you all the way through to the completion of this book. And we're going chapter by chapter. And join me inside the Facebook book club, and I look forward to meeting you there. Feel free to comment, like, share, subscribe. I am blessed to be here with you, and it truly is an honor. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for being willing to do this inner work, because the estimate is less than 1% of humanity is willing to see themselves and do this deep inner work. And that was back when I was, in one of the leadership programs that I was in, which that leadership program, that estimate back in 2018 was less than 1% of our population is willing to do the deep inner work, to look at the shadows, to put the ego in check, and realize the patterns that are not serving us. And so I welcome you in that process, and I congratulate you. You being a part of this work, a part of taking responsibility for yourself and for your life, for your work, for your stand in this world, to stand unwavering in love and not be at the mercy of the fear or what's going on in the world, because it is a projection of reality, of the reality that we perceive. And it allows us to see that what exists in one thing exists in everything. And I got to see this so clearly, even in different aspects of life. Like I lived at 2 different spiritual retreat centers for 3.5 years. And I can tell you, within a nonprofit spiritual organization, I witnessed greed. I witnessed people being made dispensable or disposable, expendable. And, that wasn't my reality. But then I got to realize and witness through my own abandonment wound how that showed up in my life, and how it happened with people abandoning me. And then I got to see it in myself, where I actually abandoned others. And so, what exists in the whole exists within each of us. And it's about us acknowledging it, being with it, like Jacqueline said in this chapter, and allowing us to really witness ourselves so that we can make amends, so that we can allow our hearts to heal, so that we can actually see that, it may not be to the degree we see in the world, because it's a projection of all of our energies. But, we do hold whatever the pattern is, to a different degree. So this is hopefully an inspiration for you to look a little bit deeper and to ask yourself, how is that showing up in my life? You could even look at our political arena right now and just ask, okay, so if the shadow state exists within all of us, and this is a projection of that collective shadow state, what we're witnessing, what is my work to clean it up inside of my own heart so that I don't have to carry that anymore. I don't have to live that out anymore. And I did see that. I saw that last week in my own life. I saw a reflection of how that showed up in my life. And it was ironic. It was truly ironic how it showed up, and a reflection for our world. So with that, I will leave you with thoughts to ponder, how is that showing up in your life? And what are your triggers that are happening? How do you get to take responsibility for them and ask yourself, how am I creating this? What part did I play in this? So that we can heal those wounds, so that we don't have to continue to live out other circumstances with new experiences, new people, and try to come to the same feeling so that we can bring it back up to heal. Let's do our work. Let's do it together. And Jacqueline is with us in that work. Right here within this book is her legacy and her spirit, her energy, and she's with us as one of our angelic cheerleaders. So with that, I will say goodbye, wishing you a most amazing, beautiful, blessed day. Make it a great day. From my heart to yours, sending you so much love. I'm Jacqueline Bambenek with Vibrational Energy Solutions. And we'll see you in the next chapter when we discuss chapter 11, and it's called Procrastination, hyphenated. Ironically, isn't that so fitting? So fitting. Procrastination. And I know that gets to be a chapter that will be impactful in my life. I've been working to move through areas of procrastination with writing. My writing projects that I have right now, I have 2 children's books in progress, and I also have 2 main nonfiction books, and the start of a fantasy sci-fi type of book that is kind of playfully in my field, but not written yet. But my work is wanting to create sustainable leadership in the world. My goal is to get on stages, colleges, universities, corporations, even high schools. Our leadership is looking for ways to create sustainability that allow us to create a greater impact in our world for humanity, and realize that there's a deep inner healing work that we all get to do. And it truly is our legacy to break the generational patterns of our ancestors, those traumas, whether they're big T or little t traumas, we hold them in our body, in our nervous system, and it's about helping us to regulate how do we reconnect with our breath. As a somatic release breathwork practitioner, that has been my saving grace, is to go back into my breath work. And whenever I have experiences where I have the inner work showing up of what's mine to own and take responsibility for, it's in that breathwork practice where we re-spirit ourselves. Our respiration is re-spiriting the body, and the body is holding the score. If your body hurts, it's generally an indication that there's some resistance in your body that you are not owning, that you are denying, suppressing, repressing, and it's trying to get your attention. So that is the invitation. How are you showing up in a way that's allowing you to create a sense of calm, peace of mind within yourself, and allow yourself space. Allow yourself grace, space for grace, and space for unwavering love, because that's what it's going to require for you to be for yourself. And standing unwavering in love for our loved ones can look a lot of different ways. Sometimes it looks like hard love. Sometimes there's a step back that needs to be taken, so that we can come fully into our own energy, so that we don't have to continuously wear those masks for other people because they expect them or they're judging us. There's a lot that goes into why we do the things we do and how we heal those underlying wounds. And I like to say, turning your wounds into your wisdom, turn your wounds into your wisdom, and your pain into your purpose. That's ultimately why we are in this earth. And so often, we truly get to ask ourselves, it's not what's happening to me, it's how is this happening for me? What is the gift inside of this? And if you look close enough, you're going to find it. And so with that, I will say farewell for this segment, completing chapter 10, and leaving you with those thoughts on taking responsibility, the ability to respond to and for your life. I'm Jacqueline with Vibrational Energy Solutions, hoping you're making it a great day, sending so much love your way from my heart to yours. Bye for now.